Vandeham Shri Guru Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurum
Hare Krishna everyone, welcome back to yet another episode of Paripraśna. So today happens to be episode number 68. So there is something special about new beginnings. It inherently has a sense of excitement and it brings in some new levels of energy. So today is one such moment because today we are starting Canto number 5 of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this amazing canto has 26 wonderful chapters, and today our objective is going to be to try and discuss the first 4 chapters. So chapter 1 is titled The Activities of King Priyavrata. Then chapter 2, King Agnidra and his sons. Chapter 3, the Lord appears before King Nabhi. And then chapter 4, the activities or rather the characteristics of Rishabhadeva. So we have a lot of ground to cover, and as always, we have with us to hold our hands and take us into these wonderful insights of every single chapter and all these amazing shlokas. So we have with us the senior sannyasi monk, a global traveler, a prolific preacher, and in spite of his scholarly wisdom, knowledge of deep understanding of the scriptures, he has this unique ability to actually explain it in a way that it is very easy to understand. So I am very much excited and truly looking forward to dive into this wonderful canto number 5. I'm sure you are also ready. So without further ado, let's go ahead and inquire from His Holiness Bhakti Padma Saurabh Pracharak Swami Maharaj. So Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat, Hare Krishna.
So Maharaj, in Canto 2, Chapter 10, Shloka 1, you had explained that there are 10 subject matters in Srimad Bhagavatam. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshanamutayah manvantare shanukatha nirodho muktirashrayah. So we have already talked about sarga and visarga in the previous chapters. So if you can explain a little bit what subject matter is Canto 5 actually going to primarily dwell on?
Canto 5 is talking about sthana. Sthana means the creation of Brahma, the 14 planetary systems, where according to the living entities, karma, different positions the living entity gets.
Okay.
That is called sthana. According to the previous karma, what the position living entity is going to get in the 14 planetary system, that is called sthanam. Sthanam is described by Sutta Goswami as the Sukadeva Goswami in the second canto, in the last chapter, that is the 10th chapter, where we have the descriptions of the 10 subject matters you get.
Right.
There he says that Attasargo Visargascha Sthanam Poshanutaya Manvantresha Anugata Nirodho Muktirashraya. Now, the third canto of Bhagavatam, it talks about Sthanam. The fourth canto talks about first canto, third canto talks about Sarga. Fourth canto talks about Visarga. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam. Poshanam is in the sixth canto. The word sthana has been described in the fourth verse of the 10th chapter, the second canto, 10th chapter. Stitir Vaikunta Vijayaha Poshanam Tadanugrahat. Stitihi, the right position, Vaikunta Vijayaha. Vaikunta Vijaya means how the Lord is always victorious by controlling the living entities in the form of karma. That is called Stitir Vaikunta Vijayaha. In one line, the entire fifth canto has been described, how the Lord is victorious in all circumstances. In spite of you thinking that I am so great, I can conquer karma, I can do this, I can do that. No, you're all bound by the modes of nature.
Mm.
So that's the whole subject matter of the fifth canto of Bhagavatam.
Sounds exciting, Maharaj. Along the same lines, so usually every time you begin your Bhagavad Katha, and even here in the podcast, few times you have, you have shared with us this beautiful set of shlokas from Padma Purana, where Srimad Bhagavatam is compared to the transcendental body of Lord Krishna. Pado yadiyo pratama dvitiyo tritiya turyo katitao yaduru नाभेस्तथा पञ्चम एव षष्ठो भुजान्तरन्तोर्युगलं तथान्यो. So like this it goes on very beautifully. So Pado Yadiyo Pratama Dvitiyo. So first and second cantos refers to the lotus feet of the Lord. And then Tritiya Turyo, third and fourth is Uru, that is thighs of the Lord. So now fifth canto is referred to the Nabhi, the lotus navel of the Lord. If you can share a little bit about this, and then we'll get into the first chapter.
We know from the navel of Krishna, in Krishna's form, that is Garbhodaksha Vishnu, the lotus flower comes. In that lotus flower, you have 14 planetary systems.
Mm.
So in the same way, the fifth canto is about sthana, which is actually 14 planetary systems.
Wow.
In this way, you can have an idea that how the fifth canto can be compared to the Nabhi of Krishna.
Okay. Nice connection, Maharaj. Like that. So Maharaj, now getting into the first chapter, but before we get into the first chapter, I just want to quote one shloka from the previous canto, that is fourth canto, last chapter, that is 31st chapter, 26th verse. Shri Shuka Uvacha Ya Esha Uttana Pado Manavasyanuvarnitaha Vamshaf Priyavratasyapi Nibodha Nrpasattama. Shukadeva Goswami continued, O best of kings, King Parikshit, I have now finished telling about the descendants of the first son of Swayambhuva Manu, Uttanapada. I shall now try to relate the activities of the descendants of Priyavrata, the second son of Swayambhuva Manu. Please hear them attentively. So in this connection, Maharaj, so Shukadeva Goswami said he's going to talk about Priyavrata Maharaj's lineage. And getting into the chapter 1 here, so I just want to quote Parikshit's question here. Rajo Vacha Priyavrato Bhagavata Atma Rama Katham Mune Grihe Ramata Yanmulaha Karma Bandhaf Parabhavaha. King Parikshit inquired from Shukadeva Goswami, O great sage, why did King Priyavrata, who was a great self-realized devotee of the Lord, remain in household life, which is the root cause of the bondage of karma, fruitive activities, and which defeats the mission of human life? So Maharaj Priyavrata Maharaj actually is the older son of Swayambhuva Manu, right? He is elder to Uttanapada. So he had renounced and now he is re-entering household life. So Parikshit seems to be quite surprised, not just because he's entering household life, but also is like he's talking about the karmic bondage that comes with household life, the way he's saying. So if you can say something in this context, why he had renounced and then he is entering household life again.
Bhakti is superior to all the ashramas. Now here we find that how Priyavrata, he actually had taken renounced order of life, not officially. Because in that system of Varnashrama, sannyasa is only for Brahmanas.
Okay.
That was the system followed at that time. So he just left the forest, and in one sense he was a kind of a vanaprastha. And he lived a life of a sannyasi. Vanaprastha means that you live a life like a sannyasi. Now, that is the chapter. This chapter is to explain this point, that how by the intervention of Brahma, Priyavrata came back and took care of the kingdom. Now, Bhakti is superior to Varna and Ashrama. Following the orders of the senior devotees, especially a Acharya like Brahma, is Bhakti. So he just practiced Bhakti, that's all. Now the question is, Parikshit Maharaj's question is very clear. He says, Karma Bandhana Parabhavaha Moolaha Yan Moolaha Grihe Ramataha. So if somebody is in a grahastha ashrama, it is perceived that this is the cause of bondage, this is the cause of destruction of parabhava, destruction of a spiritual life.
Mhm.
But the whole purpose of this story, which is being described here, is to show that it is not what ashrama you're in, how much bhakti are you doing, that is more important.
Mm.
To explain this point, this pastime of Privrata is a very interesting pastime.
Okay, okay. So Maharaj, couple of things on this before we move forward. So I think long time ago, I think when we were discussing Bhagavad Gita chapter 4 or something like that, you had explained there are two types of brahmacharis, Naishthika brahmachari and Upakurvana brahmachari. So although you said Priyavrata Maharaj was in Vanaprastha ashrama, but even in brahmacharis, if you can again reiterate that fact that not all brahmacharis are going to be lifelong celibates, there is provision for them to enter household life as well.
That is the natural system. The
Mhm.
natural system is brahmachari, then grahastha, vanaprastha, and then sannyas.
Yeah.
And directly from brahmachari to sannyas is a very rare thing.
Mm.
It is not a general system, but there is a system for that also. It is not that there is no system like that.
Mhm.
There is a system of Upakurvana brahmachari and Naishtika brahmachari. And Naishtika brahmacharis are very few, not much.
Okay, okay. Maharaj, this household life, just like Maharaj Parikshit is saying, karma bandhav parabhavaha. So many fear that marriage will weaken bhakti. But you have time and again said, it is not about the marriage, it is how strong you are in bhakti, your consciousness. So if you can say a few more sentences on this.
See, when we say ashrama, it means brahmachari ashram, grahastha ashram, vanaprastha ashram, sannyas ashram. Time and again, I've been telling the same point. The problem is not in being in grahastha ashrama or brahmachari ashrama or vanaprastha ashrama or sannyas ashrama. The problem is being in a brahmachari. The problem is being in just being a grahastha. That is why don't become a grahastha. Be situated in the grahastha ashrama.
Nice.
So what is the common thing in all the four? Ashram is the word which is common. So what
Mhm.
is being emphasized is ashram. So if you are a brahmachari, but if you are not in brahmachari ashram, then you are a monkey. And if you are a grahastha and if you are not situated in the grahastha ashrama, then you're a donkey. And if you are a vanaprastha and you are not situated in vanaprastha ashram, then you are a vagabond. And if you are a sannyasi and you are not situated in sannyas ashrama, then you are a depressed kind of person or something like that. Yeah. So it is just because somebody is not married, that doesn't mean make him a brahmachari. He should be in the ashrama. It means following the rules and regulations which are meant for that particular ashrama. That makes it the ashrama. Yeah.
Okay. So, Maharaj, I'm jumping to text number 5 here. So, in this chapter, I was noticing that repeatedly there is a change in the meter. Why are the lines so long? What meter is this?
Fifth verse.
Yeah, so long.
It is not a meter, it is a gadya. There is a difference between padya and gadya. Padya means poetry, gadya means prose. So there are three kinds of scriptures. One is known as gadya, one is known as padya, one is known as champu. Padya means where you have poetry, which has got chanda. There is a particular meter for it. And there is gadya. Gadya is prose. There is no chanda for it, but there are some rules for reading it also. But it is not chanda. There is no meter for it. And there are some sahityas which has got both together called gadya padya, which is known as champu. Champu sahityas. Gadya and padya together. So fifth canto is gadya padya. It is champu sahitya. Gopala champu. And you also have champu sahitya, champu ramayana written by Bhoja, King Bhoja. So some will be padya, some will be gadya, some will be poetry, some will be prose. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So Maharaj, I'm just reading the translation of fifth verse here spoken by Shukadeva Goswami. Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, what you have said is correct. The glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is praised in eloquent, transcendental verses by such exalted personalities as Brahma, are very pleasing to great devotees and liberated persons. One who is attached to the nectarian honey of the Lord's lotus feet and whose mind is always absorbed in his glories may sometimes be checked by some impediment, but he still never gives up the exalted position he has acquired. And then the sixth verse here. Shukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, Prince Priyavrata was a great devotee because he sought the lotus feet of Narada, his spiritual master, and thus achieved the highest perfection in transcendental knowledge. With advanced knowledge, he always engaged in discussing spiritual subjects and did not divert his attention to anything else. The prince's father then asked him to take charge of ruling the world. He tried to convince Priyavrata that this was his duty as indicated in the revealed scriptures. Prince Priyavrata, however, was continuously practicing Bhakti Yoga by constantly remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thus engaging all his senses in the service of the Lord. Therefore, although the order of his father could not be rejected, the prince did not welcome it. Thus, he very conscientiously raised the question of whether he might be diverted from devotional service by accepting the responsibility of ruling over the world. So, Maharaj, repeatedly, again and again, Prabhupada in his purports, all these glorious acharyas and you yourselves have said, Bhakti is independent of one's circumstance. Bhakti is dependent on the consciousness, not the circumstance. And similarly, here also Shukadeva Goswami is kind of bringing up all these points. So, if you can help us make better sense of this.
So the question asked by Parikshit Maharaj is Krishnecha Mati Achyuta. Now here I have a doubt. He was attached to wife, house and children, Priyavrata. But in spite of that attachment, how did he attain perfection? That was it's an astonishment. It's actually more than a question. It was an astonishment. Externally, he found that he was attached to wife, but he still attained perfection. How is it possible? Then Sukadeva Goswami answering this question, he said, yes, it is astonishing. It is true. It's not possible. Somebody who is attached to wife, children, and household affairs, how can it be possible for him to attain perfection? But it was possible for him. It is because though externally he was seen as one who is attached, a king, attached householder, but his attachment to Krishna was more stronger. That is the speciality. So there are some obstacles, but for a devotee who is attached to Krishna Katha, one who is always interested in Srimad Charana Ravinda Makaranda Rasa Avishita Cheto. Srimad Charana Ravinda Makaranda Rasa Avishta Chetaha. If somebody is consciousness totally engrossed in Krishna's Makaranda, the sweetness of Krishna's lotus feet, so then they are all the impediments which may come on the path of in the path of the spiritual life, they can easily cross over them. So it is not an impediment for them at all. So there is a verse in the 10th canto, 2nd chapter, where the demigods, they are worshipping Krishna in the womb of Devaki. They say, Tata nate ma bhava tava tavaka kvachit prashyanti margat tvaibaddha saurudha tvaya vigupta vicharanti nirbhayat vinayaka murdhashu Prabhu. In spite of they having so many obstacles, they do not fall down because of obstacles. Because the Lord, He protects them in every circumstance. So, in spite of many obstacles which may come from time to time, if But somebody is very attached to Krishna, there is no way that he can be conquered by those obstacles.
Mm.
So Priyavrata is a great devotee.
Mhm.
And he served Narada.
Mhm.
And by serving the great devotees, in spite of he being uh, in the household life, king's life, responsibility, but still he was not affected by it.
Mm.
That is the speciality.
Nice. Okay, moving forward, Maharaj. Sri Shukadeva Goswami continued, the first created being and most powerful demigod in this universe is Lord Brahma, who is always responsible for developing universal affairs. Born directly from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he dedicates his activities to the welfare of the entire universe, for he knows the purpose of the universal creation. This supremely powerful Lord Brahma, accompanied by his associates and the personified Vedas, left his own abode in the highest planetary system and descended to the place of Prince Priyavrata's meditation. So, Maharaj Priyavrata, here he is renounced, he is meditating under the guidance of his spiritual master Narad Muni. So, his own father, Swayambhuva Manu, has already instructed, but Priyavrata has still not made up his mind. He's in a dilemma. And what is creating this impetus for Lord Brahma himself to come and instruct? Was Swayambhuva Manu's instruction did not suffice?
Swayambhu Manu's instruction did suffice. It did not suffice. But Priyavrata still had a doubt that why I should go back to the material life again.
Mm.
So he did not listen to Swayambhu Manu.
Mm.
He said, but he thought, father's order cannot be rejected, isn't it?
Mhm.
But still, he can request the father, isn't it? So he requested
Mhm.
by a protest, saying that I will not rule the kingdom.
Mm.
And he said that if I rule the kingdom, then I'll be affected by lust, anger, etc. in ruling the kingdom. So,
Mm.
my dear father, you see, I cannot rule because I'll be affected by all these things. I'm not qualified.
Mm.
Because to rule the kingdom, you need to be very much controlled in your senses. It's not easy.
Mm.
Being king is not just sense enjoyment, it's a great responsibility.
Mm.
Then somebody has to rule the kingdom. Then Brahma had to come and intervene.
Mm.
So Brahma, Adideva,
Mhm.
he was thinking of how to maintain the prosperity of this world, of the
Mm.
creation. Then he came and then told Priyavrata that you should take care of the kingdom.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, Maharaj, before we get into Lord Brahma, all the various reasonings he gives to convince Priyavrata to get back to householder life, number one, wasn't there anybody else in the whole universe who could rule other than somebody who's already renounced and asking him, you come back? And number two, his own father, Swayambhuva Manu, is so capable. Why is he himself not ruling? Why is he coming back and asking Priyavrata to come back?
Swayambhu Manu's two sons, Priyavrata and Uttanapada.
Mm.
Can there be anybody more qualified than that? These two children. Now we should know how many Manus have passed by the time. Swayambhu Manu's descendants practically ruled this planet till Chakshusha Manvantara, the previous Manvantara. And the kingship, kingship means the dynasty of kings created by Brahma was through Manu. And the the dynasty matters a lot, because by birth they have that kind of quality to do that.
Mm.
That's the reason you can say there is no further person
Mm.
apart from Priyavrata,
Mm.
because Priyavrata's descendants ruled till the fifth Manu. You see the third,
Yes.
fourth, and the fifth Manu. See, Uttama, Tamasa, Raivata, they were all descendants of Priyavrata, and Priyavrata
Mm.
is actually the son of Manu.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll see a few verses from Brahma himself. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Nibodhatate Mritam Bravimi Mashuyitum Devamarhasya Prameyam Vayam Bhavaste Tata Esha Maharshir Vahama Sarve Vivashayasya Dishtam. Lord Brahma, the supreme person within this universe, said, "My dear Priyavrata, kindly hear attentively what I shall say to you. Do not be jealous of the Supreme Lord who is beyond our experimental measurements. All of us, including Lord Shiva, your father, and the great sage Maharshi Narada, must carry out the order of the Supreme. We cannot deviate from his order. न तस्य कश्चित् तपसा विद्यया वा न योगवीर्येण मनीषया वा नैवार्थधर्मैः परतः स्वतो वा कृतं विहन्तुं तनुभृद्विभूयात्. One cannot avoid the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not by the strength of severe austerities, an exalted Vedic education, or the power of mystic yoga, physical prowess, or intellectual activities, nor can one use his power of religion, his material opulence, or any other means, either by himself or with the help of others, to defy the orders of the Supreme Lord. That is not possible for any living being from Brahma down to the ant. So, like this, Brahma goes on instructing Priyavrata. So, what is he exactly conveying to Priyavrata Maharaj?
Oh, Brahma, he was determined to change the mind of Priyavrata.
Correct.
Then he told, "You are very stubborn, I am also stubborn. Let's see whose stubbornness will win." That was the main intention of Brahma.
Mm.
So Brahma, he knew that I am going to disturb his bhakti, his vairagya, his jnana.
Mm.
But in spite of he taking up grihastha life, in spite of he becoming the king, I'll make sure that his jnana, vairagya, and bhakti will not only just stay, but it will also increase.
Mm.
So when somebody like Brahma, who is so advanced, when they engage a renounced person in the activities of being a king, administration, so we should know that it is not a disturbance for you, but actually it is a opportunity for you to progress in devotional service. Surrender. So Brahma, he starts saying that we are very stubborn. But do you think that you are the controller? That you can do whatever you wish? What to speak of you? Even your Guru Narada, your father Manu, and your father's brother, Manu's brother Shiva, even I, your grandfather, we are helpless. Don't think that your stubbornness will work. Don't be stubborn. See, by his order only I am ruling the kingdom. Do you think I am also interested in doing that? Ruling. So Krishna has ordered me to rule the kingdom, so I am doing it. So is there any fault in Krishna? Do you think Krishna is at fault? So don't hate him. See, the Lord is in your heart. Worship him. Don't hate him. Now you think that you are the controller of everything. You can do whatever you want. No, the Lord is sitting in your heart. You should do what he wants. So you see, It is not by your own endeavor you can attain the Lord, by going to the forest and doing tapas and everything in the Lord. No, it is the Lord who actually delivers you.
Mm.
He will deliver you when you act according to his intentions.
Mm.
Mhm. He is there. It is not that you have to go to the forest to find the Lord.
Mm.
He is there in your heart. Mhm. And don't think that you know everything.
Mm.
I am Brahma. Mhm. And I'm like your father. So please listen to what I say.
Mm.
I'm not your enemy. It is not that I'm coming to make you suffer, take you from the peaceful life in the forest and take you to the kingdom, make you the king, make you suffer.
Mm.
No. Whatever I'm saying, it is for your benefit. This way, he talks about if you disrespected respect my order, thinking that I'm disturbing you from your peaceful spiritual life,
Mm.
then you may think that God also, by instructing me to create this world, he has created disturbance for me. That means you are offending Supreme Lord.
Oh, wow. Okay. Mm. So, Maharaj, in Priyavrata's case, Lord Brahma himself came and gave a clear-cut instruction. You give this up and you re-enter household life. In Arjuna's case, when he also sat down saying that I don't want to fight, I'll live by begging. So then Krishna also said no. In different ways, he elevated his consciousness and said, you have to engage in this fight. Of course, he respected his free will and gave the choice, but it was evident what Krishna wanted Arjuna to do. But in mere mortal case like us, so how do we know when Krishna and the authorities want us to engage in this world and when they want us to renounce? When do we engage and when do we take a step back?
When we engage in this world, the engagement will be different for different people, but we have to be engaged.
Mhm.
So there is no question of renouncing this world at all. Where is the question renouncing? Renouncing is actually a mental function. You have to renounce attachments to this world.
Mhm.
But the responsibilities have to be accepted.
Mhm.
When Krishna told Arjuna to fight, what it is? Sangam tektva karoti yaha
Mhm.
lipyate sanapapena. So Arjuna was thinking activities in this world are Maya,
Mhm.
but responsibility is Maya. No, your attachment to this world is Maya. Maya is not in the world. Maya is in your attachment.
Mhm.
So when somebody understands the Maya is attachment, then there is no point at all. Every responsibility becomes devotional service.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Drawing another parallel, Maharaj, when the Kumaras refused to obey the orders of Lord Brahma got angry, but he knew they were right, so he did not exhibit that anger. So here Priyavrata Maharaj, so their Kumaras are still glorified when they refused the order of the father. But here Priyavrata, he is kind of forced into accepting this order. So how do we understand this? Kumaras versus Priyavrata.
Yeah, that is why Kumaras became Brahmavadis. Of course, by the touch or the fragrance of Tulasi, they became Paramhamsa,
Mhm.
great devotees. So they were thinking that renunciation is superior to devotion.
Mhm.
But here Brahma is convincing Priyavrata, he is forcing him, he convinces him to accept this order as an order of the Supreme Lord,
Mhm.
so that you have to perform the duties of being a king is a form of devotional service for you.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. So, in Bhagavatam's worldview, what is the place of one's free will? Because here, where does one's free will end and giving in to the divine necessity? Here, based on free will, Priyavrata wanted to continue under the guidance of Narada. But because there is a divine cosmic necessity and grandfather is coming and telling me, he says, okay, all right, I'll come back and take up householder life. So, how does Bhagavatam place the use of one's free will?
Yeah, the free will is there at every juncture of one life. Like here, the free will is there in Priyavrata whether to accept the orders of Brahma or not to accept.
Right.
If he does not accept, then becomes adamant, and then he will go against the will of the Lord. And if he accepts the order of Brahma, then he surrendered to the will of the Lord.
Mm.
So free will doesn't mean to do whatever comes to the mind. Free will doesn't mean that. Free will means that you have a choice and choose the best.
Mhm.
That's called free will.
Okay.
But the word free will has to be understood in this way. That means I have a choice to do something which even if I don't like, to accept it, that is called free will. Free will doesn't mean to do whatever comes to your mind.
Mm. Mhm.
That is called free will. I have the freedom to choose. Means my senses in the mind are dragging me to do this particular thing,
Mhm.
but I'm having the freedom to choose something even if I things which I don't want to do. That's called free will.
Yeah, I will need another moment to digest that. So, Maharaj, going forward, I want to throw some light on the hierarchy among spiritual authorities. So, here in this case, so Narad Muni was the teacher of spiritual master of Priyavrata. So, Narad Muni was happy instructing him in this renounced life and all that. So, a higher spiritual authority than Narada, that his own father Brahma is coming, and now he is giving an instruction, quote unquote, which is contradictory. He is telling you give up all this and you come back. So, how do we properly see the hierarchy within spiritual authorities? Somebody who is your immediate authority may say something. Somebody who is above him also, that authority may say something different. So, how do we properly?
In the case of Priyavrata, Narada was giving him instructions on Vairagya as long as he was in the forest, but he never contradicted the orders of Brahma.
Mhm.
So there is no contradiction among the authorities.
Mhm.
The contradiction or the confusion is in one's mind.
Okay.
When Narada says, he talks about detachment. When Brahma says, he talks about seva.
Mhm.
You combine both and say you do the seva with that detachment.
Mhm.
So you should have intelligence to harmonize.
Yeah.
There is no contradiction.
Mhm.
Naturally, the sannyasis, the preachers of the line of Narada, they would say, hey, give up, give up, give up.
Mhm.
And those in the line of Brahma, they say, no, you do accept responsibility, responsibility, responsibility.
Mhm.
Then you should take both. You should give up your attachments and take up your responsibility.
Yeah. Wonderful. So how come Brahma later in a verse in this whole section he's telling that you accept this and you enjoy householder life. How come Brahma seems so confident that Priyavrata will not be entangled in spite of him enjoying the material life?
I don't understand.
So Brahma in this whole section, Maharaj, later he says you accept this enjoyment, you enjoy in the householder life. So how come Lord Brahma is so confident that Priyavrata will not be entangled? He will not get bound in spite of enjoying in the material householder life.
Because he did not want it.
Ah, yes.
When Manu went and told, accept it, yes, yes, I'll come back. He did not. He said, I don't want.
Mm.
So generally, responsibilities should be given to those who don't want it.
Nice. Very instructive. Mm. Okay. Anything else on this section, Maharaj, before I move forward? Anything that I have not asked and you want to bring it up?
Brahma talks a lot about prarabdha karmas.
Uh-huh.
He says, even the liberated person maintain his body obtained by the karmas enjoyed. So prarabdha karmas are very, very strong.
Mm.
Even though I am liberated, there are some prarabdha karmas, residual karmas, which are there for us to exist in this world. Just to maintain the body, we require some prarabdha karmas.
Mm.
So you cannot just disown karmas just like that and become liberated.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm getting to 20th verse now, where Shukadeva Goswami is speaking. Sri Shukadeva Goswami continued, after thus being fully instructed by Lord Brahma, who is the spiritual master of the three worlds, Priyavrata, his own position being inferior, offered obeisances, accepted the order, and carried it out with great respect. So, Maharaj, does surrender always mean this, aligning one's desire with the desire of your spiritual master or the Lord? Like Arjuna also said, Karishye vachanam tava. Whatever you say, I will do. I shall do thy will. Is this the gist of surrender? Simply do it. Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. But with the faith that if I do, it is for my benefit only, they are being telling. It's not that, okay, I just do it out of frustration, not out of frustration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it is for my benefit, they have been telling, so I'll do it.
Okay. So getting to 23rd verse here now. Following the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Maharaja Priyavrata fully engaged in worldly affairs, yet he always thought of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are the cause of liberation from all material attachment. Although Priyavrata Maharaj was completely freed from all material contamination, he ruled the material world just to honor the orders of his superiors. I'm going to skip a few verses from 23rd. I'm going to go to 29th here. Just highlight something. Okay. After Kavi, Mahavira, and Savana were completely trained in the Paramahamsa stage of life, Maharaja Priyavrata ruled the universe for 11 arbudas of years. Whenever he was determined to fix his arrow upon his bowstring with his two powerful arms, all opponents of the regulative principles of religious life would flee from his presence in fear of the unparalleled prowess he displayed in ruling the universe. He greatly loved his wife, Barhishmati, and with the increase of days, their exchange of nuptial love also increased. By her feminine behavior, as she dressed herself, walked, got up, smiled, laughed, and glanced about, Queen Barhishmati increased his energy. Thus, although he was a great soul, he appeared lost in the feminine conduct of his wife. He behaved with her just like an ordinary man, but actually, he was a great soul. This is amazingly instructive, Maharaj. He is simultaneously, he is doing well in both householder life. It seems like he is attached to his wife. It seems like that. He's doing everything to keep her pleased and children and administrative affairs and all that. But at the same time, he was such a great soul. He is also performing bhakti and his attachment is to the Supreme Lord. So usually we see that either somebody is attached to Krishna and they neglect the householder life, or they are so absorbed in the householder life that they are away from Krishna. But Priyavrata is managing both of them so well. So what can we learn from the way he is taking care of everything?
That is called Mahamanaha. The word Mahamana is very significant here because his activities were very difficult for common people to understand. It was inconceivable because he was simultaneously attached at the same time detached. It means when people saw him, they saw him that he was very attached, but actually he was detached. Because when he was performing material activities, he was doing such a perfect drama that nobody could realize that he is doing a drama. So a person should do his material life or execute material life like a drama. Like when somebody is playing the role of Ravana, he only knows that he is not Ravana, but everybody should know he is a Ravana.
Nice.
Actually, he can do the role of Ravana the best when he thinks that he is not Ravana. I am doing a role here. That is it.
Is this why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wrote to Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami when they said, we want to give up and we want to come? He said, no. Just like a lady is attached to her paramour, but she's doing all her activities nicely. So is this along same lines? Priyavrata is doing very nice.
Yes.
Okay. So Maharaj, now we will see his administrative ability. Oh my God, he is just brilliant. So we'll get into the 30th verse. While so excellently ruling the universe, King Priyavrata once became dissatisfied with the circumambulation of the most powerful sun god. Encircling Sumeru hill on his chariot, the sun god illuminates all the surrounding planetary systems. However, when the sun is on the northern side of the hill, the south receives less light, and when the sun is in the south, the north receives less. King Priyavrata disliked this situation and therefore decided to make daylight in the part of the universe where there was night. He followed the orbit of the sun god on a brilliant chariot and thus fulfilled his desire. He could perform such wonderful activities because of the power he had achieved by worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is unthinkable for us, Maharaj. Him mounting on a chariot and going parallelly with the sun and the kind of things that he's trying to accomplish. And especially, I want to quote a little bit from Prabhupada's purport here. There is a Bengali saying which describes that someone is so powerful that he can make the night day and the day night. That saying is current because of the prowess of Priyavrata. His activities demonstrate how powerful he became by worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna is known as Yogeshwara, the master of all mystic powers. In Bhagavad Gita 18.78, it is said, wherever there is the master of all mystic powers, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, victory, fortune, and all other opulences are present. Devotional service is so powerful. When a devotee achieves what he wants to accomplish, it is not by his own mystic power, but by the grace of the master of mystic power, Lord Krishna. By his grace, a devotee can accomplish wonderful things unimaginable even to the most powerful scientist. So that's a powerful shloka, prowess of Priyavrata and what Prabhupada is highlighting. So I would like to hear from you more on this prowess of Priyavrata Maharaj.
You already spoken about this thing, and the whole purpose of the description is to say that how Priyavrata was more powerful than the sun.
Mhm.
The sun and goes around the Meru.
Mhm.
Chariot of the sun goes around Meru. But Priyavrata's chariot also so bigger than the sun,
Yeah.
sun's chariot, that it traveled around along with the sun to such an extent that when there is no sunlight on the other side of Meru, he was actually such a high position than Meru that nobody felt the absence of the sun.
Mm.
And Priyavrata's chariot had 7 wheels which created these 7 oceans.
Mhm.
Yeah, that much is done because everything is being
Yeah.
described by you.
Mm. So Maharaj, it's also said that actually there was Priyavrata who was ruling in the kingdom and he expanded himself. There was another Priyavrata who mounted the chariot and went. So he was able to expand himself.
Expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah, his expansion.
Wow, it's astonishing. So he created all this, like you just said, about the oceans and the islands. The
All
names.
these are created by Priyavrata. Otherwise, it was just only a
Yeah.
flat thing. And these islands were created by Priyavrata.
Mm.
Jambu, Palaksha,
Mm.
Shavali, Kusha, Krauncha, Shaka, Pushkara.
Mm. Yeah. Very, very interesting. So Maharaj, just to clarify, so all these kings previously also, so when Prutu ruled, when Dhruva ruled, Prachetas, they all ruled the entire Bhumandala then.
Yes, they were not just restricted to this Bhugola.
Mm.
Their influence was for existing in the higher dimensions too.
Wow. Unimaginable. How capable they were. Okay. So he led a life like this. What an amazing life. And we'll come to the last section of this chapter, shlokas 36 to 41. So while enjoying his material opulences with full strength and influence, Maharaja Priyavrata once began to consider that although he had fully surrendered to the great saint Narada and was actually on the path of Krishna consciousness, he had somehow become again entangled in material activities. Thus his mind now became restless and he began to speak in a spirit of renunciation. Why is he regretting? He is leading such an exemplary life under the order of his guru and his grandfather Brahma. Still, he seems to be doubting himself that maybe he is entangled.
That is an example to the people. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Amar Jivan Sada Paperato. He's not repenting. Though he's repenting, he isn't to set an example to the people. Because Bhaktivinoda Thakur never led any sinful life. Yeah. Just for the sake of that.
Okay. And there seems to be a pattern, isn't it, Maharaj? Prutu Maharaj also, he also towards the end, he felt like maybe he is entangled. He also gave up everything in him.
Yes.
Okay. So, Maharaj, transitioning into the next chapter, that is chapter number 2 here, the activities of Maharaja Agnidra. So, I'll just get to the second verse here. Desiring to get a perfect son and become an inhabitant of Pitruloka, Maharaja Agnidra once worshipped Lord Brahma, the master of those in charge of material creation. He went to a valley of Mandara hill, where the damsels of the heavenly planets come down to stroll. There he collected garden flowers and other necessary paraphernalia, and then engaged in severe austerities and worship. So Maharaj, although we did not touch upon this in the previous chapter, so Priyavrata had 2 wives and he had begot sons from both of them. He also had a daughter, Urjaswati, who was given in marriage to Shukracharya. Devayani was their daughter. So the eldest son that he had from Barhishmati was Agnidra. So in spite of him being the son of such a great father, why is his aspiration in worshipping Lord Brahma is simply to go to Pitruloka? Why not Goloka?
He was not practicing pure devotional service, but of course he was doing doing devotional service. There are some devotees who like to go to Brahmaloka, serve Brahma, and want to go to Krishna along with Brahma. Known as Krama Mukti. So those who follow that path, they are fine. That is also another process. Krama Mukti. You go to Brahmaloka, and along with Brahma, you go to Krishna when Brahma dies.
Okay. And he is also desiring to get a perfect son. So here he is actually after material benediction, isn't it?
Not every benediction which son seeks is totally material, because if you have a good son, you can hand over the kingdom to the good son and go to the forest doing tapasya, isn't it? So not everything can be perceived in that way.
Okay. That's a different way of looking at it. It's good. So Maharaj, a major section of this chapter, so a lot of verses, more than 10 verses, almost 10 verses, from 7th to 16th verse. So Lord Brahma actually sends Purvachitti, an Apsara here, and the way Agnidra is flattering her, flirting with her, I don't know, somebody of his caliber, so many verses in Bhagavatam to describe his flattery of an Apsara.
So ultimately, what did Agnidara do? Tell me.
He married Purvachitti and he begot sons, Nabhi.
And then what did he do at the end?
He went to that Loka of Apsara because he was very much attached to her. Because she left, so he also ended up going there.
Yeah, that shows that anybody wants anything in this world, if they perform devotional service, they can get. Bhakti can give any bhukti. Bhakti can give mukti. Bhakti can give siddhi, all these things. But that is the power of bhakti. He must be not willing to go to become go back home back to Godhead. But he is a bhakta. Bhakti can give everything. That is the power of bhakti.
So is this where we draw this thing that Shuddha Bhakta, the mixed Mishra Bhakta?
Yes.
Okay. So Maharaj, without getting into all the details of how he is in a very poetic, romantic way, he is flattering with this Purvachitti. But why is he all throughout talking to her like as though it is him and not her? This poetic license of you are a sage and you have come here and your followers and all this. So why talking to her like as though she was a man and as though she was like a sage?
To flatter somebody, you use all things. There's no specific reason given by any, any acharyas here. But to flatter someone, you use all means and means so that that person agrees to your proposal.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. So in this context, Maharaj, while I was reading Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's purport on this, he also said that initially that Maharaj Priyavrata, because he was quite lusty in his union with his wife, that he begot a son Agnidhara who was not necessarily a pure devotee. So how important it is, the consciousness of the parents at the time of conception, that it influences the quality of the progeny.
Yeah. Garbhadana sanskara is very important.
Mhm.
As is your consciousness, so is your progeny.
Mhm.
Progeny is nothing but reflection of your consciousness.
Mhm.
So it's very important to do Garbhadana sanskar and then have a desire to have a child with all good qualities. Otherwise, then you'll be lost.
Mhm.
You'll get somebody like this. But still, Agnidhara is not just another
Yes,
person.
yes.
He's a great personality.
Yeah.
Just because somebody is into sense enjoyment, that doesn't mean he's a useless person.
Mhm.
He's a great personality because he ruled the kingdom, considering his own the citizens as his own son, like Brahma.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm. Okay, so I'm going to jump to the 17th verse here, Maharaj. Okay, so Shukadeva Goswami continued, Maharaja Agnidhra, whose intelligence was like that of a demigod, knew the art of flattering women to win them to his side. He therefore pleased that celestial girl with his lofty words and gained her favor. Attracted by the intelligence, learning, youth, beauty, behavior, opulence, and magnanimity of Agnidhra, the king of Jambudvipa and master of all heroes, Purvachiti lived with him for many thousands of years and luxuriously enjoyed both worldly and heavenly happiness. And in the womb of Purvachitti, Maharaja Agnidhra, the best of kings, begot 9 sons named Nabhi, Kimpurusha, Harivarsha, Ilavrita, Ramyaka, Hiranmaya, Kuru, Bhadrashva, and Ketumala. So Purvachitti gave birth to these 9 sons, one each year, but after they grew up, she left them at home and again approached Lord Brahma to worship him. So, Maharaj, can you do a little bit of switch to spiritual geography? So, with Priyavrata, we understood the entire Bhumandala was segregated into Navadvipas and Saptasagara and Saptadvipas, the 7 islands and the 7 oceans. And Agnidhra, being the eldest son, he got Jambudvipa, and now he has 9 sons, and the names are given. So, how in Jambudvipa these 9 sons got each of them, Maharaj? How it was sectioned further?
So there are varshas, and each varsha they were nine sons were given these varshas.
Mhm.
Mhm. Like you have Purjati gave birth to 9 sons, one each year, isn't it?
Mhm.
But left them in the house of the king and again approached. So Purvachitti's sons are there,
Mhm.
and Agnidhara mm, uh, naturally had long limbs and strength.
Mhm.
Thus, the sons of Agnidhara ruled different parts of Jambudvipa. They had received from his father. The kingdom were named according to their names.
Mhm.
So these are the names. According to the names of the sons, the 9 divisions of Jambudvipa were given to them.
Okay. And then in the Varsha, then we will have Kanda, Bharata Kanda later.
There's Kanda, Bharata Kanda, like that. Again,
Mhm.
Varsha Kanda.
Okay. Okay. So, Maharaj, chapter number 3, I'm just going to quote the translation of verse number 1 here. Shukadeva Goswami continued to speak. Maharaja Nabhi, the son of Agnidhra, wished to have sons, and therefore he attentively began to offer prayers and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the master and enjoyer of all sacrifices. Maharaja Nabhi's wife, Meru Devi, who had not given birth to any children at that time, also worshipped Lord Vishnu along with her husband. So Maharaj, like this it continues. So now Maharaja Nabhi is also performing a sacrifice to get a nice son. And not only a nice son, he wants a son just like that of the Lord. So what we see in this chapter, Maharaj, when Lord Vishnu appears, it is not Nabhi who is offering the prayers. It's quite unusual that the priests who were performing the sacrifice, they are offering the prayers on behalf of Nabhi. Why this twist here, Maharaj? Why not Nabhi, but the priests are offering prayers?
Ritvija Uchuhu. Why Ritvijas are doing the praise in prose continue? It's 16 verses.
Yes.
They are praising.
Mhm.
Uh, actually, the priests are acting on behalf of Nabi.
Mhm.
So I don't know a very specific reason. Is there any reason which you come to know? But there is a reason.
Okay.
Was it mentioned? Is it mentioned anywhere in the?
No, I didn't see it anywhere.
Yeah, it's not there. There's nothing special reason about it.
Okay.
Priest means what? One who acts on your behalf is priest.
Mm.
So these prayers are chanted by the priests.
Mhm.
16 Gantyas.
Mm. Okay. So the Lord does reciprocate, and he does get. The Lord says, "I come. My own portion will come as your son." So I'll just go to the 17th verse here. So fast forward. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead replied, "O great sages, I am certainly very pleased with your prayers. You are all truthful. You have prayed for the benediction of a son like me for King Nabhi, but this is very difficult to obtain. Since I am the Supreme Person without a second, and since no one is equal to me, another personality like me is not possible to find. In any case, because you are all qualified Brahmanas, your vibration should not prove untrue. I consider the Brahmanas who are well qualified with Brahminical qualities to be as good as my own mouth. Since I cannot find anyone equal to me, I shall personally expand myself into a plenary portion and thus advent myself in the womb of Meru Devi, the wife of Maharaja Nabi, the son of Agnidra. So the Lord is so kind, Maharaj. He reciprocates to all kinds of desires, and here he is willing to, he himself, the plenary portion, coming as the son of Maharaja Nabi.
Yes, Krishna comes as son of Maharaja Nabi because being pleased by the prayers of the Ritvijas whom he has appointed. That is why when you appoint the priest, you should make sure the priests are really powerful enough to do
Mm,
that
mm,
prayer.
mm,
The Lord appeared in the womb of Meru Devi.
mm. Okay. So moving on to the last chapter of discussion for today, that is chapter number 4, the characteristics of Rishabhadeva, the supreme personality of Godhead. Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, as soon as the Lord was born as the son of Maharaja Nabi, he manifested symptoms of the Supreme Lord, such as marks on the bottoms of his feet, the flag, thunderbolt, etc. This son was equal to everyone and very peaceful. He could control his senses and his mind, and possessing all opulence, he did not hanker for material enjoyment. Endowed with all these attributes, the son of Maharaja Nabi became more powerful day after day. Due to this, the citizens, learned Brahmanas, demigods, and ministers wanted Rishabhadeva to be appointed ruler of the earth. So, Maharaj, essentially, if you can talk a little bit more about the characteristics of Rishabhadev, the Lord himself coming as the son of Nabi and Meru Devi. So, some glorious aspects of Rishabhadev.
The glory of Rishabdeva is that he gave birth to 100 sons. Among them, the first one is Bharata.
Yes. Hmm.
So many a times it so happens that a father is known by his son.
Mhm. Um,
Even till today, this land is called Bharata
yes.
because of King Bharata. He's the
Mm.
son of Rishabdev.
Mm.
And most interestingly, Rishabdev instructed his 100 sons about Krishna consciousness, about renunciation.
Mm.
The famous instructions of Rishabdev to his sons
Mhm.
is found. Putraka yena sattam shuddhed brahma saukyam tarantam. Rishabdev tells his sons that tapo divyam, Don't do tapasya for getting something which is available even for those who are for pigs. Pig pujarni. But you do tapasya. But what kind of tapasya you should do? Tapo divyam. So that kind of tapasya you should do, which is by which you become very beautiful. So that kind of instructions Rishabdev gave. So Rishabdev is a liberated soul.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay. So Maharaj, you spoke about his 100 sons and the eldest son Bharata. So eldest is the most exalted Bharata, and 9 of them are Kshatriyas, 9 of them renounced Navayogendras, which will come in the 11th canto, and the remaining 81 of them became qualified Brahmanas. What an achievement!
Yeah. Yes, 9 became Kshatriyas, 9 became Nayogendras. Now Yogendras, just see,
Yeah.
11th canto described.
Yes.
So just imagine if Priyavrata would have not married, we would have not got all these people. So Brahma, he knew in your dynasty all these things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Actually, these days when some young boy wants to get married, somebody wants to attend Grasta, we should make a rule. At least you should have 5 children, not 100. If devotees have 5, 6 children, just imagine.
Yes, yes.
They can run a temple.
Yes.
One family can run a temple and a preaching center at least.
Yeah.
I think one son, 2 children, then better not get married. Then what is the use? Marriage means you should have many children. Unfortunately, they are not having children these days.
Yeah.
After getting married, if you don't have children, especially being a devotee, then it's a great loss. It's also a sin not to have children after getting married.
I think somewhere as the society is moving forward, Maharaj, the emphasis is more on career, gaining material wealth, not so much. In the earlier days, actually, children were the real wealth for grihasthas, but now that is not the case. How many houses you have, how much money you are earning, how much savings you have. So this has become the measure of success in householder life and not how many children.
Yes. You have one child or 2 children, they go and then they leave you alone. Better have 10 children, out of which 5, 6 will get together and take care of you at the old age.
Yeah. So Maharaj, of course, next episode, really eager to get into Rishabhadev's teachings to his sons, but just closing the loop on Nabhi. So I'll just read one translation here and have you speak on that. Due to getting a perfect son according to his desire, King Nabi was always overwhelmed with transcendental bliss and was very affectionate to his son. It was with ecstasy and a faltering voice that he addressed him, "My dear son, my darling." This mentality was brought about by Yogamaya, whereby he accepted the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Father, as his own son. Out of his supreme goodwill, the Lord became his son and dealt with everyone as if he were an ordinary human being. Thus, King Nabi began to raise his transcendental son with great affection, and he was overwhelmed with transcendental bliss, joy, and devotion. So, Maharaj, usually we say the attachment, whether it's to one's own children, wife, household, becomes bondage. But here, getting the Lord himself as the son and his Putra Vatsalya. So, through this only, Nabi went back home, back to Godhead, showering his love on his child, his son.
He was so happy seeing the qualities of his son.
Yeah.
Because he remembered that the Lord himself has appeared as his son and he developed that affection. Ultimately, that became affection for his son became the cause of his liberation.
Yes, glorious.
So if you have a great devotee as your son and affection for your son is like affection for a devotee and you'll be liberated.
Sure.
He made his son the king and then left the forest. He had liberation. He had affection and at the same time he had renunciation.
So Maharaj, that is another thing. All these kings, they are ruling the entire Bhumandala, such opulence, and they leave everything just like that and go. And here we are, we hardly have anything, but still we don't want to leave. So it is such a contrast.
That is why the Bhagavatam practically talks about Kshatriyas only. Maharaj Priyavrata,
Yeah.
Maharaj Nabhi, Uttanapada, Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, all Maharajas only.
Yes.
Kshatriyas, great prince, to show that how ultimately you have to live.
Yes.
And you can live. In spite of being a king, the person left, what about you? You can live.
Is this where they were nicely trained in Gurukul? They knew exactly this is my higher goal. So ultimately,
Yes.
I have to leave.
Yes.
Wonderful. Very nice, Maharaj. So, Maharaj, moving on to the last section, that is Brahmastra. So, since I was seeing a pattern here, Priyavrata is the eldest son of Swayambhuva Manu, Agnidra, eldest son of Priyavrata, Nabi, eldest son of Agnidra, and who is this? Rishabhadev, eldest son of Nabi, and later we will see Bharata, eldest son of Rishabhadeva. I was feeling a little this thing as the younger child in the house, so much importance given to the older children. But however, it is nice. They have their own responsibility and they have the sense of protection towards the younger siblings. So in Brahmastra today, I'm just going to mention a few, the eldest and the two eldest sons in the family. So if you can share a sentence or two about those who played a positive role, like what did they teach as the eldest brother, and those who did not, what kind of bad example they set as the eldest. Like, for example, Dhritarashtra, he was the eldest, but he set a bad example. Yudhishthira was the oldest, but he set a great example. So, like that, I'll just give a few, Maharaj, if you can say something about that.
Yeah.
So, we'll start with the eldest Pandava, that is Maharaj Yudhishthir, or I think technically speaking, Karna was the eldest, however you want to take it.
Yeah, Yudhishthira is the eldest. Though Karna was born through Kunti, but he was not known as Pandava.
Correct. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
So Dharmaraja is the eldest. When he became the king, it is described in the very first canto that he, though he became the king, he ruled the kingdom in consultation with his brothers. They never felt that, oh, he became the king, I don't have anything to do, I don't have any role. He made sure that others felt that they also have a role.
Yes. Okay. Contrary to this, Duryodhana, who was also the eldest but negative.
Yes, Duryodhana, he ruled the kingdom very nicely. He had affection for his brothers, but he was self-centered. He was egoistic. That it is me. It is me. I am the superior person. He was more into kama, sense enjoyment. Yudhishthira was more into dharma.
Very nice.
Even by seeing and hearing the names also, we find that how in the war, most of the decisions were taken by Bhima, not by Yudhishthira.
Okay.
And here, most of the decisions were taken by Duryodhana himself. He never took any advice. Yudhishthira always acted on the advice. So just because you're eldest, that doesn't mean you should act as if you know everything.
Yeah. Good lesson. What about Ravana?
That is same applies to Ravana also. Just see,
Yeah.
he did not take advice of his own wife.
Mm.
His brother Vibhishana, he did not take advice of Vibhishana.
Mm.
He wanted his younger brothers to act according to his desire.
Mm.
But you should know the desires of the younger brothers and then act.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Wali Maharaj.
Pali, if you are elders, then you are supposed to be forgiving. He did not forgive. Because he did not forgive, then he became the cause of his own death.
Yeah. Mm. Rama, who killed Wali?
Rama, he is eldest. But how much he loved his brothers.
Yes, very good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He never acted alone.
Mm.
Even what to speak of this? There's many leaders, monkey leaders in his army.
Mm.
Whether to accept Vibhishana or not.
Mm.
First he asked, "What do you think? What do you
Yes.
think? What do you think?"
Yeah.
And then, so it is not that I want this to happen, all of you should do this. No, he
Mm.
always took advice.
Mm.
Seeking advice is actually an expression of your love, concern, and respect for your juniors. What is
Mm.
your advice? You should ask, what do you think about it? What do you feel about it? You
Mm.
may take the ultimate decision, but Ram always took advice. That's perfectly.
Mm. Yes. What about Bhishma? You gave such a fantastic class recently. Oh, it was so good. So, Bhishma.
Bhishma is a great devotee of the Lord, but the Lord, he used him to show how to the world that what you should not do as a
Yeah.
king. You should not place your family first. Like Lord Ram,
Mm.
he did not place his family first. He sent his wife Sita to the forest.
Yes.
Kshatriya means one who keeps a nation above family.
Mm.
Bhishma, he not showed what a Kshatriya is not supposed to do.
Yeah.
So for the sake of the country, he sacrificed his country for the sake of his father.
Mm.
So when qualified people don't take up responsibility, then disqualified people will occupy the post.
Yeah.
So Bhishma was the most qualified person on the planet. He should have taken on the role of being a king.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is why it is so important to hear scriptures from devotees like you, because then you understand in proper perspective. There was the same thing if we were to hear from a non-devotee. Most likely they are going to glorify Bhishma. I mean, no doubt you also glorified throughout the class, you were glorifying him only, but in the right perspective. So it is so important to hear from the right source.
Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur also mentioned about Ekalavya. The whole world glorifies Ekalavya.
Yes.
But Ekalavya is a demon.
Mm.
He is one of the asuras who took the form of
Mm.
Ekalavya.
Mm.
And it's all spoken by Sri Padma in Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya.
Uh-huh.
So all this is all coming from the Acharya's commentaries.
Mm. Mm. Wonderful. Maharaj, were you going to say something more about Bhishma? Did I intervene
No,
prematurely?
no, no.
Okay, okay. What about Balarama?
Balarama is Lakshmana. Well, Balarama is Lakshmana.
Mhm.
So Lakshmana, he thought I'm a younger brother. This because of which I had to listen to Krishna. Now I want to become elder brother. So he became elder brother, but still he became a servant.
Dhritarashtra, the eldest.
Dhritarashtra, the eldest, he was blind, and his attachment to his sons
Mm.
took him to the path of adharma.
Mm.
When Bhishma again and again told Dhritarashtra, your son is going in the path of adharma, correct him. He said, yes, I know what to do.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Who was Krishna's eldest son? Was this Pradyumna or Samba? Pradyumna, is it? Rukmini's son?
Yeah, Pradyumna.
Okay, so if you can speak about Pradyumna.
Pradyumna,
Mm.
not much I can say about Pradyumna. The
Mm.
incarnation of Kamadeva.
Oh, yeah, Cupid. Yes, correct. Yeah, Kamadeva.
Which Kamadeva? Not the material Kamadeva.
Ah, okay.
The spiritual Kamadeva.
Mm.
And Krishna is personification of Kamadeva.
Wow. Mm. Okay. What about Dhruva Maharaj, who fought with that vengeance when Uttam was killed?
That showed that how the eldest son has a responsibility towards younger son, like son. The eldest son should think his younger brothers are his own sons.
Mm.
Elder brother means father. Elder sister
Mm.
means mother.
Mm. Beautiful. Mm. Okay. Indrajit, son of Ravana.
What you can say about him? Ultimately, he died.
Yeah.
Being a son of such a father to do, he died.
Yeah. Finally, Maharaj, you yourself, in the brief interaction that I've had with your own brother, the wonderful Ramaranjan Prabhu, I told him also, it just seems like Rama Lakshmana, the kind of affection and the love with which he talks about you is like so heartwarming, the way your brother looks up to you. And I have seen that affection that you have for him also. So if you can say, you yourself being the eldest brother, what kind of an example you are setting? Maybe I should ask him that, but anyway.
Maybe he took over the responsibility of the family and then I just left. He became elder to me.
Such a sweet thing to say. Wonderful, Maharaj. He really looks up to you. Yeah. So thank you so much, Maharaj. It is such a feast of lectures that are coming up. So many classes, morning, evening. I'm sure in between also you are occupied with so many other things, classes for brahmacharis and meetings. But in spite of all your other engagement, you're still diligently making time for Pariprashna, taking your time out for these recordings. And that means a lot. So many perspectives. It's truly life changing. So thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you is not sufficient, but still, I don't know how else to express my gratitude. Thank you so much. So, Hare Krishna, everyone. There we go. So this is just the 68th episode where we've just begun the discussion on Canto 5. But like I said, there are 26 chapters in this whole canto. And don't go anywhere because we are going to get into the wonderful instructions, teachings of Rishabhadev to his 100 wonderful sons. And then don't go, it is going to get so fascinating because we are going to get into the 3 lives of Bharat Maharaj, the King Bharata, then the dear Bharata, and Jada Bharata. So it is really interesting. So we will see you in the next episode, 69th episode. So until then, as always, stay Krishna conscious and stay inquisitive. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.